How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Loose Cannons. Hopefully you're good. Hopefully you're well. And I'm sure you are, unless you're not. But Arsenal won the game. A lot of ops are waiting for us to drop points, lose that second place. A lot of people messaging me after the Man City win, but we regained our position top at Christmas. Whether it matters much or not, we'll find out in May. But it was a big win, Everton away. And obviously, we've got Jordan and James in the building, as always, people. And obviously, we've got a special guest, as always, Alex McLean in the building. Alex
Come on.
in the building. Mindset
Come
coach,
on.
public speaker, semi-pro, professional footballer. Come on.
Oh, bro, don't. We can't start like that.
I'm gonna rattle him. I knew that. I was internet ready. I'm ready.
You can't do that, brother.
Internet ready.
That's a bad start.
Shameless.
It's Sunday morning. It's 7:41. That's a bad start. Bad start, my brother.
I'll big up my striker, man.
Come on. I guess you're not getting the best person to come on the pod so far.
It's not a good start, Turkish. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a good start.
But yeah, we got the Alex. First and foremost, before we get into all of that, obviously, how are you, bro? It's been a long time since we've spoken.
Long time indeed, but yeah, I'm very well, man. Great Saturday for me personally. I scored, my team won, clean sheets, and then Arsenal do the job in the evening. So yeah, happy days for me, man.
Wait, Alex, sorry, just to double check with Turkish on the intro there. You semi-professional footballer now?
Well, step 5, innit? It's decent. 5 leagues away from League 2, as they call it. That's how they do the tiers. So yeah, it's good fun, man. We get fans, match program. You get to travel sometimes. It's good, man. Trying to do it as long as I can. Hold on in there and enjoy it. So yeah.
Where do you play?
I play over in Surrey for a team called Guildford.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. So, guys, I've got particular. I don't know. Well, I don't know what the word is. Interest in what's the word?
Non-league.
Interest, like affection, happiness for you as a guest, Alex. So I just want to take everyone back 7-8 years where we first met, and a lot of people won't know this. So we were both at Kent Uni, and it was my final year at Kent. I can't remember. Were you second year at the time? On your final year as well?
I think I was second year. Yeah, you were final year. I was second year.
And we basically played college. It was called college football. And essentially, like at Kent, you could play 2 types of football. You could play for the university where you played against others, or we had like an inter-college league. And in my final year, I was captain of my team that I played for at college level at the uni. And I remember, McLean, man, you were like desperate to play for us, and we were running trials and stuff. Listen, Alex McLean's a proper footballer. I remember we signed you to the team. We had a massive overhaul because we lost a lot of players that summer. A lot of them were just old ones who'd left uni. We went and won the league and cup double, I think, in our club's first season. Me and you played in midfield together.
Oh, man. It was
Swear.
Yeah. We played midfield together for Keens. First time I think we'd done the double, won the league for the first time in like 5, 6, 7 years or something since the team had done it. HMRT football is going to go find out about college football at Kent now and call me out, tell me I'm wrong. We definitely won the double. We started midfield together in the cup final. That was a mad day. That game, that cup final was against. So we were in Keens College. Keens FC was our team. We ended up in the final against Keens Athletic. I think in that final, McLean, tell me if I'm wrong. I think we went 1-0 down.
Yeah, and then got someone sent off.
We ended up 9v10. So 9 of our players versus 10 of those. McLean equalized in like the last minute of extra time to make it 1-1. Was that right?
Yeah, and then we went to pens.
We went to pens and we won it on pens.
Who was the 6? Who was the 8?
I'm the 6. Actually, no, I might have been 8 them times. Were you 6?
Do you know what it was? But it was like, so I was the 6, but like Jorginho 6. I didn't get stuck in. Like I was just give me the ball, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, that's for Jorginho. I was younger them days. I was running through. I could do box to box. I was scoring. So yeah, I think that was the duo, man. Serious.
Good. So go on, Turkish.
That's news to me. I didn't even know about this. So
yeah. So we've known each other for years, and then obviously I saw you. You obviously do some fan camps on AFTV. We've kept in touch a little bit, but yeah, we had a good team. But do you know what? The timing couldn't be better, because I tweeted that I thought the Trevor Chalobah tackle on Anthony Gordon was a penalty, And I was flooded with messages being like, "You've never played, have you? You clearly never played the game." I'm like, "No, I just have a difference of opinion, you cretin." So I'm sat there just like, I just think it's a pen. I don't know why this clearly make what you clearly don't like the physicality, do you? And I was just like, fuck off. Anyway, only for semi-pro footballer who I've shared the pitch with, Alex McLean, to come on and say, no, we played together. So thank you, McLean, for coming.
All right,
I think you've added some, what's the word? Legitimacy to my footballing takes. So thank you.
Man. Credibility. James is a baller, bro.
Come on.
You heard it here. I was never as good as Alex.
You'll see it eventually too, because the content we've got in mind moving forward for us, and some of the challenges.
Let's run it back.
The skills will be tested. But listen, big up Alex.
Brilliant footballer and brilliant content creator. I've seen what you've been doing with Arsenal and stuff as well, man.
Thank you, man.
Really proud of you, man. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
100%. I feel like this is one of those ones where people at the beginning might be like, "Who's this?" But after a year, you'll know who this is, and then you'll look back at Loose Cannons and say, "Hey, they was early with it." So make sure you go subscribe to or follow Alex's Instagram. It's in the description, people. That's his main platform now. But in the new year, there's big plans. So make sure you go follow up the Insta and then follow up the journey. Jordan,
we say in Turkish, what? He's a Dalman.
I mean,
is that what you say, man? The Dalman.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like in a year, the reality will shine through, my brother. Trust me. Trust me.
Man. Big love, man. Honor to be here.
We had one of them penalty decisions of our own, but before we get into that and start there, listen, we won the game. Big pressure on that game. Man City won 3-0 against West Ham as expected. Haaland shutting it down as expected. 19 goals now for him in the league, I believe, after another couple. And that put all the eyes on Arsenal under the lights. Everton away from home, a difficult side, albeit heavily changed with injuries and players out for AFCON in Ndai and Gueye. Arsenal, injuries of our own, doubts of our own going into considering performances. No wins away from home in the last 3 in the league. The last 2 away wins coming against Bruges and Prague, either side of those 3 games against Sunderland, Chelsea and Aston Villa, where we dropped 7 points and allowed City back into it, which made the reality that on Saturday, a City win puts them above us in the league, albeit for a few hours if we get the job done. And we got the job done. Jordan, I don't normally start with you, but this time around I will start with you, just to get your thoughts and feelings. I haven't really spoken to you about a sort of WhatsApp group active, but I ignored it on purpose so I can get your unfiltered, raw thoughts, comments on the game this morning, 7:48 now.
Or you just ignored it because I was just talking nonsense. You can say that as well.
No, trust me, I've done that many times as well. This isn't one of those things. This was tactical.
Good man, good win. As you said, man, we needed to win. Our feet's on the fire right now. Man City are clicking into gear. Glad we got the 3 points, man. Clean sheet. I called for that in the last podcast. Let's get back to clean sheets. And we got the job done. It wasn't easy. Going to Everton, especially for us, has never really been an easy place to go. And Everton are doing a lot better this year than I thought they would. I had Everton in my bottom 3. My predicted table at the start of the year, I had Everton going down. So they're marking me off. They're doing a lot better than I expected. Yeah, they're missing a couple of key players at AFCON. Dewsbury Hall, who's probably their most informed player, out injured at the moment. So you could argue it was a good time to play them. But then we've got Gabriel out, we've got Havertz out, we've got injuries of our own. So really, really glad that we kind of bounced back from what's been a really difficult 2 or 3 weeks. I thought we played generally well. There was a couple of bits, so in the group, just so everyone knows, a couple of periods in the game, as James flagged at full time, I had lost my head a little bit. And looking back on it now, maybe slightly unnecessarily so. But there was a couple of periods in the game where I was a little bit anxious about the lack of a second goal, because this isn't the Arsenal 1-0 up from 2 months ago, where 2 months ago, 1-0 up, I know we're good. I'm confident that we can see out 1-0. I'm confident we can get the job done. This is a time when Arsenal have conceded a few late goals, and defensively aren't as good because we haven't got our regular defenders at the back. So there was a couple of periods in the second half in particular where Everton were kind of gathering a bit of momentum, and I was a little bit concerned. But overall, I think we had the better chances. I think we, in terms of chances, were comfortable. We could have won the game 2 or 3-0, hit the post a couple of times, and a couple of other chances I thought we could have done better with and killed the game off. But we rode it out, man. So generally, I thought we were really good. We were good. I think we were worthy winners. Good response from Wolves last week. A few things that I'm not happy with, which I'm sure we can go into detail. But overall, glad to get the clean sheet. Glad to get the 3 points. I'm glad to go back top of the table.
Well, what a lovely start to the podcast, Jordan.
Well, I thought I'd start positive.
Yeah.
I mean, what a beautiful change of tone.
Well, you know, I've had 8 hours sleep, James. So you know, I've had time to, you know what I mean.
I've got a screenshot on my phone. I don't like to jinx things, but I wrote at 9:23, which was about maybe 10 minutes into the second half. I wrote, "You're losing your head," but I decided not to send it because I didn't want to jinx it, and then it aged badly. So I thought I'd screenshot it, just had the evidence. I believe "we're a mess" was one of the texts.
Well, what I meant, let me clarify what I meant. What I meant was there was a period in the first half where offensively we wasn't really clicking, and defensively we felt like we were kind of scrambling. So a mess may be a slight exaggeration, but there was no cohesion in our attack or defense. We looked like we wasn't convincing going either way.
You sure you was watching this game or a replay of last year's game?
Nah, man. First half, I don't think we were good. I don't think they were. Go on.
Defensively, we was comfy though.
I don't.
Well, no shots. They didn't have a shot.
No, they didn't have any shots, but we didn't look like we had control of that first half. It looked like it was again a little bit of a basketball match. We were getting broken through a bit too easily for my liking. And whilst they were threatening our goal, they just had too much possession in our final third, and they were flirting, right? They were looking like they could do something rather than us clamping it down, and I didn't like that. I don't think we ever really had control of that first half at any point. So, all right, a mess is maybe a bit of a stretch, but I don't think we're particularly good in that first half either.
Alex, let's get your thoughts on it. I mean, talk to me before the game going into it. Man City are above us. First time they've been above us in the league this season, actually. But obviously, the first time we've dropped off since we've taken that first position off Liverpool all those weeks ago. So it didn't look good. It didn't feel good. Was there any nerves going into it? Because I was kind of nervous going into this game because I know how big this one was. You know, we dropped points after that pressure was put on us. You know what it's like, bro. You've been there with us over the years. Arsenal, they're cracking. They can't handle the pressure. Look, Man City, the Sharks are back. But going into the game, did you feel any nerves, or was you confident that you've seen enough from us to know that we're gonna dispatch of Everton?
No, I think if we're being honest, it was a nervous moment. I had that little sick feeling in my stomach. Everyone was saying, look, around the Christmas period, that's when Arsenal start to crumble. You know, all the stats are out there. We've been top at Christmas the last 3 seasons, and we haven't had anything to show for it. So I think being the last game, you guys know me, I'm into psychology. I love the mind, and I'm thinking, okay, cool. City have just won. As much as players love to say we don't watch it, you do, right? You know the results. You know what's going on. They've cleaned up West Ham expectedly. It's an added pressure now because you're the last kickoff of the evening of the game week. Everyone's watching. There's a new stadium. We haven't got a good record at Everton, and we haven't played for a week. So I know some people think that's good because we've had time to reset. But in my head, I'm like, what Arsenal am I going to get here? I'm not sure. I don't have much to go off. I know I want a response because Wolves was a very, very, we know the game already. But part of me was thinking, this is a potential banana skin. And I kind of agree with Jordan. I think the way we started, it didn't fill me with confidence. Like, I know what he means. It was a bit itty-bitty. Some of our play, there was a few passes we were thinking, you're releasing it a little bit late, or, oh, that's passed off the pitch, or you don't look assured yet. And I don't know if that's because we were growing into the game, new stadium. I thought we did get settled later on. But, yeah, I definitely went in with a bit of nerves, man, for sure.
James, similar?
What, as in, was I feeling nervous before the game?
Yeah, but I asked you because you said 3-0. you
Yeah.
have been the most confident person I've spoken to about this game pretty much all week. And to be honest with you, I mean, you said 1-0 up until 70, and then we win it 3-0. So up until 70, it did look like, it was still on the cards. It didn't quite end as emphatically. At times, I felt like we needed the second goal. But going into the game after City, the reality was there. It's one thing predicting it before, the reality being that we are second now. Did you feel any different about that game?
No. I'm so glad you kind of like qualified sort of how I saw the 3-0 coming, because I never thought it was going to be like a 3-0 demolition. And I know it sounds really silly. I do liken it to City's 3-0 at Palace, where you are digging in at times, you are finding a way at times, but your quality comes through. And guys, I felt we left goals on the pitch. I don't think we were 3-0 good, but I really think we left goals on the pitch. That second half in particular, man, where Timber can either square it to Gyokeres, but he cuts it back to Saka, and I think Saka should do better. Zubimendi hits the post. Trossard had to score from that when Rice as well rolled it to Trossard. Whatever minute that was, 60-something, 70-something, whatever. So we left goals on the pitch. But I actually want to give the players a lot of credit. This is not a game we'll ever really reflect on as a fan base as like a huge win, a great performance or anything like that. I just thought it was really professional. You've watched all these other big games go on, Chelsea, Newcastle. Look at the energy. Look how open that game was. Then City, like you said, they do their business. They destroy West Ham, which is expected. And then even Tottenham, Liverpool, man, that was very open for both teams, more than they'd have liked. And Arsenal, I think, had to learn from what happened at Villa Park, where we were really aggressive. We tried to press. It became a bit of a basketball match. They had 2v2s, 3v3s, finding Ollie Watkins going forward quite often. And we did a lot of like individual defending, a lot of running backwards, a lot of just trying to deal with the situation in the moment. And I thought what we did well was actually just kill the occasion for the first 20. Were we fun to watch? Absolutely not. Did we just manage the occasion? Sure. This is probably the biggest fixture they've had at their new stadium so far. This is an 8 p.m. on a Saturday night just before Christmas, before, sending the Everton fans off for Christmas as well. And I thought Arsenal did a really good job just killing the game. I thought starting Odegaard over Eze was a really good shout for that, because so many times Raya just found Zubimendi and Odegaard in the pockets and just calmed everything down. Then we started to build on it. Now, we didn't get better because we scored. I actually felt we were upping it just before we got the penalty and then scored, which obviously Gyokeres took well. And then I felt from that moment, and look, Jordan, I'm being facetious, I sort of call out your messages and stuff. I think your reflection of the game was fair. The only thing I slightly disagree with was I actually think we did defend and attack cohesively as a unit. I just don't think we executed quite the ideas or that final moment well enough. But actually, I thought we were much better as a collective going from one end of the pitch to the other. Sometimes the game got quite open, but that's why you got a Declan Rice. That's why you got William Saliba to tidy up. And I thought they in particular did really well. And I take it, guys. I was like, see Wolves, yeah, where we dominated for 90, but kind of did nothing. We are furious because of the context of that game. In the context of this game, we definitely didn't dominate as much. We probably didn't have as many great chances. But the context of the game, I'm way happier. So I thought they did well, man. I thought this was a really important 3 points and a good performance.
I think you mentioned at the beginning there, maybe the significance of it isn't one that we'll look back on. But I think it might be. Because the amount of eyes that were looking at this one say, thinking to themselves, maybe not saying out loud, but thinking to themselves, these are the sorts of games now that Arsenal, this period, like Alex said, this little run we've been on. Because you could look at the run one way, and we talked about this. Sunderland last minute away from home, it can happen. They've proven they're a good side so far this season. They've got points of other good sides, right? Chelsea, it can happen. Aston Villa, it can happen. In isolation, these things can happen. But when you put all three of them together, that's when it starts looking bad and smells a little bit, let's say. So this one, in my opinion, a lot of eyes were on us, and we lost a certain level of... A month ago, we was formidable. We was hard to break down. How are we going to have a shot against Arsenal, let alone score goals against Arsenal? That aura has been lost a little with the Gabriel injury and, part of our attack suffering. Teams have, taken it to us a bit more than maybe they had done before, right? and they've got some goals out of it. You know, we've struggled for clean sheets in comparison to earlier on in the season. So I think the clean sheet, the win away from home, regardless that Everton are, you know, currently missing players for one reason or another, I think it's big because now we go into 2 home games and City go into 2 away games, you know, before the year shuts down. And, you know, we have a chance to win our next 2 and end the halfway point at 45 points, I believe, which, you know, is en route to a 90-point season. And I think when you look at this season and the inconsistencies of Liverpool, Man City as well, leading up until now, even though it's so close, a 90-point season, in my opinion, wins you this league. So we're on course for 90 if we win the next couple. But it was also the platform to remind everyone, you know, this ain't the Arsenal of old. We've learned from those mistakes we've made in seasons gone by. Because I do fear that drop points yesterday against Everton, Man City eyes, ears would have all perked up if they hadn't perked up already going into the game. This was the one where I know a lot of them thought, all right, there's something's going to happen here, but let's see it play out. Nothing happened. You know, as much as our attack, listen, we won the game for a penalty and the game did open up and we should have scored a second. For sure, we should have scored a second at the very least. I think it was just about getting the job done and we got the job done. Now, after our form away from home, I don't take Everton lightly, never. I don't care who's missing for them because they're always on it mentally, physically. They're on it. They've got a good partnership at the back, even without Branthwaite. And they've got a manager that knows the league in and out, knows the club in and out. So for me, it was in, get out, 3 points, back on top of the league. And then you just coast through this Christmas period, hopefully getting the wins that we're expected to get now. And I feel like, yeah, we'll be back in a stronger position in the next couple of games because of the way the fixtures play out. So I do actually think this is one that if we go and win the league, it won't be the one we look at. But for me, it'll be one I remember that kind of calmed the noise a little, if that makes sense. You know, because there was a little noise. Are Arsenal really better than Man City? Because up until, you know, recently, was Arsenal the best team in this league? And then all of a sudden, Man City are creeping. I do feel like, listen, the performance won't scream Arsenal are better than Man City, but it was about the result. I'm just making sure that mental side. That's why I'm glad we got Alex, because he is a mindset coach as well as the semi-pro stuff. And that mentality side of things, I think this game in particular was mentally the biggest game we've had this season across any competition. Jordan.
I do have some critiques though. So I think
man, it wouldn't be a show. I mean,
no. Whoa. Like I think my opening statement was balanced and fair and honest.
You're baiting us.
Well, there was a few things I didn't like and I wasn't happy about. We do this thing where we're very big on building from the back, right? And we do this thing where Raya stud rolls the ball and he tries to, I get the point of it, right? You're trying to entice them to come out because you know that once they come out of position to try and press the ball, he's good enough on the ball that he can make the pass. Our technicians on the pitch can then cut them open and we can get in on goal. So I get the logic and the theory behind why we do that. We just don't do it a lot. And invariably what we end up doing is going long anyway. And I just wonder, is the juice worth the squeeze a lot of the time? I'm watching a lot of the time where we spend a lot of time with the ball between Raya, Saliba, you know, Timber, back to Raya. Again, I get why we do it. And when it works, I think it works really, really well. It just doesn't come through that often. And the commentator at one point in the game said, Everton are doing a really good job of what do you say, minimizing Arsenal's momentum or tempo. I was like, no, Arsenal are doing a really good job of minimizing Arsenal's momentum and tempo. That frustrates me a lot of the time. Whilst I get why we do it, I just don't think we execute it enough to justify doing it every single time. And the tempo loss that I think it takes out of our game, I just don't know if it's always worth it. So that's something that I noticed a lot that that building up from the back, that slow pass across, looking to pick them out. I just don't know if it often works.
How does that get fixed in your opinion, though?
I think accepting that sometimes going direct a little bit more is better. We seem to do it more times than not. Right, Raya gets the ball, he's waiting, out to Timber, back to Raya. and angles made by Saliba or Gabriel or Hincapié, who by the way is not great on the ball. And then we end up getting 8 or 9, 10 passes between our back five before we've even got out our final third. And then, like I said, invariably ends up Raya going long anyway. So I'm just like, can we not just go long earlier? I don't know. James, come back to me in a minute and let me know if maybe the whole point of that is that when you go long, there are positions or it's easy. I don't know. But you've got Gyokeres up top, who, he's not a small guy, but I don't know. I think going direct quicker sometimes. I would personally prefer to see more of that. Saliba, I've heard Saliba being praised on a lot of the blogs and pods I've listened to overnight. Right, I thought he wasn't good yesterday. I wonder if his ball playing has slightly regressed. But one of the thing that we lauded him for the most when he first joined and when he really was on the rise was his ball playing. I thought on the ball he was crap. I thought he looked nervous. I thought he gave a couple of passes away. I thought his passes were always safe. When Saliba's passes back in the day, up until about a year ago, were never safe. He always punched them in. He didn't drive with the ball. I didn't think Saliba on the ball was particularly good. I thought he looked really nervous. And he got a couple of times, he actually got barged off the ball in difficult positions. And that's not like Saliba. Am I the only person that kind of that thought that or noticed that?
I'm really starting to think you've seen a replay of last year's game.
Nah, what you thought he was good on the ball?
I thought he was really good
on the ball.
I thought he was tired.
Yeah. Sorry, go
Okay.
on, Alex.
Maybe he's not his industrious self because remember he is coming back from injury, and I'm not someone that's going to make excuses, but you have to take these.
But I did think this before, so I did think this a couple of games before the because I thought that too. I thought fair enough, he's been out for a few weeks, but I thought this before the injury. I know on the ball he's basic, and Saliba was never basic on the ball. He was never basic on the ball. He always drove with the ball or made really effective, impactful punching passes. He didn't do that yesterday.
No, I think he's
all the way twice on the ball.
I think his role has become the general, and it's just and it's part and parcel for him now. So I feel like he doesn't stand out anymore because of the standards he's set already. And I feel like he's the general of that defense where he's the one that oversees everything. He's the one that takes that one step back instead of maybe taking the risk that we might have linked to him because of his ball playing abilities early. He's also the one in defense that I definitely trust the most in terms of you stay a step or two back and just make sure everyone else is doing what they should be doing either side of you and in front of you. I think as much as we talk about the replacements we got in defense and the depth, I don't think we've got another William Saliba in defense in terms of what he brings. I think we've got a couple Gabriels in terms of profiles, not level in Gabriel, because Gabriel's level of that type of defender, he's gone. But I think in Saliba, generally in football, but definitely for us, the role he has, I don't think no one else can do it as confidently, as smoothly. He's just he's the boss there, and he's what 20? He's still 24.
Yeah, listen, maybe I woke up miserable. I'm being a little bit harsh, but I just didn't think he was particularly good yesterday. I love Saliba. I think he's brilliant. I just thought I've noticed it before he was injured. I just noticed, I don't know, when Gabriel's not there as well, he looks like he struggles more without Gabriel than Gabriel does without him. I know Gabriel's older, but Saliba was always.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
Saliba was always, was the guy, and I just wonder. Go on.
Well, listen, Gabriel got injured, and you lot think part of Kivior stepping up last season wasn't Saliba being next to him?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
100%.
That's true. That's
we're talking Real Madrid. We're talking. Listen, a PSG game where it wasn't the defense necessarily that cost us. It wasn't, it was more the attack in key moments that cost us. So I think it's been proven, in my opinion, that Saliba's the one that if we're missing him, I feel like we've got a bigger problem than if we're missing Gabriel. And it's fine margins because Gabriel on the offensive side, since he's been gone, our set pieces our threat ain't the same anymore. So,
and I want to be just after about 10 games, I was on the pod saying that I don't think Saliba's consistent high performances get recognized. I thought he was going in the background for just doing regular 8 out of 10. So I love Saliba. Just in his last 5 or 6 games, I think personally he seems to have just kind of gone into like being a normal centre back rather than being the top guy he was. So if I'm in the minority, I'll watch him a bit closely some more. But yesterday, I didn't think on the ball he was effective at all. Anyway, and we'll get to Glock Watch a little bit later. But my general kind of takeaway from yesterday was the build up from the back, the slow build up. I don't know if it helps us. I just don't know. I think we lose more than we gain from it.
Well, it's interesting. So just on that whole Saliba Gabriel, who do we miss more? Maybe it speaks less to the players and more to the partner coming in. So I prefer Mosquera and Gabriel to Saliba and Nkapie right now.
Agree.
So maybe it's nothing to do with Saliba and Gabriel, but more about Mosquera and Nkapie. Nkapie is coming for Gabriel for a good month now. I actually think, to his credit, he's done pretty well. Yeah, I don't, he loses the header for the Wolves equaliser. A few people critical, and I was one of them, of him, sort of the way he put the ball out of play late against Villa, which leads to us, under more pressure. But a lot happens after that, to be fair. But largely, I actually think Nkapie has done pretty well, and I thought he was pretty good again yesterday. Not amazing, but pretty good. Now on the playing through the lines and build up and everything, Jordan, I actually agree with you that Saliba on the ball hasn't stood out this year as much as maybe in previous years. But I wonder whether that is more a system thing. Maybe they're reducing risk in his passing or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes it could be.
If it's tactical, then fine. Sorry, if it's tactical and they've actively said we're going to change how you guys play, then fine. I'm just saying I've noticed that he on the ball is not he's not doing what he was doing a year ago. That's all.
But there's always an opposition with their own tactics. Now, if I'm a manager preparing for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal and I'm pressing them, first thing I'm thinking is stop Saliba, cut his passing lines to Timber or to Zubimendi or to Ødegaard, because I'd rather they played through Nkapie, Rice, Calafiori than the other. And they're all very good on the ball, but that's just the area I'd block off. So there could be an element of that. There's another team trying to stop us as much as there's us trying to do what we're trying to do. But I thought in build-up yesterday, I thought it was actually the right thing not to go long and make this a game about duels or whatever, because they had energy in the likes of Ghana, Eric Boonham as well, Alcaraz or whatever. Grealish can get on the ball and drive, and then next thing you know, you're losing challenges and you go back and forth. I actually really liked, and I had to tweet this at half-time because I saw some real catastrophizing in terms of tweeting from a lot of Arsenal accounts who are very calm, very positive, very happy Arsenal fans. A lot of people going, don't like how slow we are, don't like our tempo, don't like our build-up, don't know what we're doing on the ball. And I'm sat there going, but people, what's the context? As Turkish said, and he said it perfectly, we've gone behind City for the first time. All eyes on us. Are you going to slip up? Everton away, difficult place to go. And you just got to manage the occasion, just calm it. Pour cold water on any heat in that stadium. And I thought we did that so well for 20 minutes. And starting Ødegaard, I think, was a huge part of that. I don't know what you all rated Ødegaard in the game, but I thought he had a good game. Not amazing, but I thought he had a good game. And part of that was him and Zubimendi, who neither of them really excelled, did anything exciting. They were the ones receiving off the back line, off David Raya, calming the occasion. And I bet it's one of those performances where, to us, we all kind of went, yeah, all right, it was good to watch. I bet if you ask the Everton players, they'd say, nightmare trying to press Zubimendi, Ødegaard, trying to get close to them, trying to know who was going to pick up the ball where. Declan Rice as well. Who was the one closer to Gyokeres? Who was pulling in the channels to get the ball? Who was dropping deep into the six? I bet they were thinking, how do we press these guys? Who's coming, who's going, who's moving here, there, everywhere. And it reminds me of players like, who's the Forest fullback, Olaina, and others who have come out and said, playing against Arsenal so difficult because they're constantly moving, interchanging. And, Alex, who's played at a higher level than all of us, can maybe speak to this more. But I bet, while it's not pretty for us, it's hard work trying to get close to these Arsenal players sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to add that. I think it's interesting because for us watching, the game was almost a damp squid. But I think that's what you wanted with the context of the game that was in front of us. Like Turkish touched on, this was a moment for a pendulum swing that we know when it swung like this before, what happens to us. So I think actually it's a great move to make, there's a famous phrase in football, play the game and not the occasion. But I think it was an actual example of just playing the game. I didn't feel like it was an occasion. I didn't feel like it was an 8 o'clock kickoff with loads of pressure and we were under
That's
it.
fair.
The only thing I could remember was when they had that corner. And I thought, this is an opportunity for this to be a really nervy game, conceding lots of shots. Everton getting really up for this, you know, slips at the back, crossbars, and we're just hanging on and we're trying to get through. But we actually made it the complete opposite. And I think to Jordan's point earlier about taking our time at the back, I think number one, definitely the system of our team has changed. When we were in the 2022-23 season, Saliba had much more license to break forward. We were much more open, much more expansive. He looked pretty on the ball. He looked flamboyant. But we've all heard in Arteta's press conferences his favorite word, control. You know, he talks about wanting to suffocate teams, and he does that with the ball. And yes, these passes look tedious and they look boring and they do look ugly on the eye. But like James is saying, it actually tires players out because you're having to rotate. You're having to do that press when you know you're not going to get there. And all of the time you're doing that, that's creating more gaps in behind so that when you finally do go and you've got that explosive winger that gets on the end of it, you've decreased the team's energy levels. So I think all these things are fine margins. At the end of the day, elite sport, the little details matter a lot. I agree on the other side that I didn't feel confident with Raya at times when he had the ball at his feet. There was one where he kicked it out and I'm thinking, you're inviting a little bit too much on here. I don't think Everton ever looked like they were going to do something, but if they were, it was going to be because of us. And I think that was a problem that I didn't enjoy having to wrestle with for some of the game. But I think apart from that, when I look at the game as a whole, and I like to look at games in blocks, right? This is what I would call a start, hopefully, of a domino effect for the next games we've got coming up. This game will hold a lot more significance if the next couple games, which we've mentioned are all home games, we can see some more pretty football. We can see some more goals. We can see that clinical side of Arsenal coming back where we're going into games puffing out our chest. There's an assurance. We haven't had that for a while, but in order to get back there, these wins and these types of control in games are an important foundation. And I think that's what I saw yesterday.
I think that's a brilliant point. I'm just quickly Googling something. So bear with me one sec. Do you remember we beat Fulham 1-0? I think it's a comparable win. I'm just having a little look. Right, we beat Fulham 1-0. Trossard, set piece again, ole, all that. We found a way, but we followed it with Atletico Madrid 4-0, Palace 1-0, Brighton 2-0, Burnley 2-0, Slavia Prague 3-0. Suddenly, Fulham looked a better result because of some of the more emphatic wins that came after in a run in which we had the opportunity to do it. It's a really good point, Alex. Like, how does it look as a result in a reflection of a run of games? What will be more telling? But that's true of any title race. You got to keep building on it, and let's hope we do. But I agree with everything you said there.
And it helped that we got the early goal. I mean, it's Christmas, and we opened the gift really early because I don't know what O'Brien was doing. I mentioned on my match reaction that's my family name, so he might actually on my Irish side, so he might actually be a distant cousin. So I want to say thank you for the early present.
What is he doing?
Pick him up.
That's crazy. I've never seen that.
Wide receiver. Yeah, you know in rugby when they do that thing at the side when they pick up the guy and he and then he was shocked that it was given. He looked at the ref like, what?
You almost caught it.
I'm thinking, bro, that might be a red card, bro. Not just
it was mad.
What
is it the most obvious penalty you've ever seen in your life?
Yeah, it was more. The referee took 5 minutes. I'm like, bro, that's one view. That's one look. Come on, it's the most obvious. I don't really criticize referees that much, as you guys know. But I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? That's one look.
Even O'Brien should have gone to the ref and said, mate, don't even bother. It's a penalty.
Yeah. That's one of those ones.
I saw Tarkowski arguing. Tarkowski was funny yesterday. I think he's a very good player, Tarkowski, man. And there was that, and he was out arguing with it. I was going, I don't know what you're arguing with here, mate. And then he went and clattered, I think, Gyokeres like 2 minutes later. And he was arguing with the ref with that. I was like,
yeah, he got a yellow.
I think it's some of the most blatant ones ever. But anyway, very good player there.
But Gyokeres got it, and Gyokeres finished it. I mean, you know, he done what he had to do. There was a lot, you know, we're talking about the mental side of this fixture, right? The mental side of that penalty for Victor. Listen, I'm not gonna over egg the cake. I think that's the saying. It's a penalty. You expect the man to score a penalty, especially one that, you know, comes in with 100 goals in a couple of years. But he had to score it. He scored it, and that turned out to be the winner. So, you know, Alex, you spoke of what this game couldn't do moving forward. James, you compared it to Fulham and then the results after. you know, looking more at a player level. Let's erase, you know, the inconsistencies and the ups downs of the last 16 games and Victor Gyokeres' opinions. Now he needs to kick on from here, you know, and keep it moving. James,
Absolutely.
Look
I mean,
look how miserable he
I was
is.
about to say Jordan's ready to explode, so I might add some more.
Nah,
cubes.
man.
Okay.
You've done a good job glossing past something that really irks me, man. So, I mean, first of all, before we get to the penalty, he should have had a penalty before that.
What you think the push was a pen?
Oh yes, okay.
And at first, I thought I won't use the word, but let's say cat. You absolute cat. Because my first thinking was, you've just basically sensed that someone around you touched you and you've bottled it and you've gone, oh, penalty.
Yeah.
Head the ball in the net, bro. I'm fuming. On the replay, I'm like, nah, it's a pen.
No, I'm the opposite of you.
I'm Turkish. I
thought it must be a pen, and then I saw the replay and I thought, Victor, do you know you need to score, brother? Because you could have headed that in.
I need to rewatch it.
You know why?
I've watched it. He's strong enough to not go down there and to make it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in his head he knows he's not getting there and he's trying to.
You're being too nice, Jordan. What's wrong with you?
No, see, you're not gang up with me today. I don't like this, but I'll take it anyway. I looked at the replays and you can see he's fully focused on just trying to just head that ball in before man comes in behind him. I think it's a foul. And I will give him. My first thinking was you've bottled it. You've bottled it. But in the replay, I think the guy's leaning in behind him and he has fouled him. I thought it was a penalty. I thought it was a foul, right?
I thought you bottled.
Jordan, all I'm saying, you've gone 0 for 4 so far this pod, bro. I love you, man.
I've gone what?
You've gone 0 for 4, man.
Over 4.
0 for 4
0
from the 3-point line.
You don't think it's a penalty?
No. Not
Have you
enough.
watched it back again, James?
I think it's a pen, but anyway. So there's that, right? Now the minute from the corner, a minute or two later, we get the penalty. I'm losing my head, guys, because I hate this pity penalty nonsense. I hate it. I don't like it at all. Now people say, "Oh yeah, but he's got a great record back in Sporting," and he does, and he's a very good penalty taker. No, your taker takes your pens. You don't give your penalty to a guy for pity at 0-0 away at Everton in a game we have to win. Yeah? People will say, oh, yeah, but he scored and we won the game 1-0. No. I keep telling people the result is independent of the decision. Just because you get the desired outcome, that doesn't mean you don't do the right thing. Make the right decision. The right decision is Saka takes the penalty. Now, if he misses, and we can criticize that. But you don't mess around with. No, I'm not having it because
Saka's missed enough. Missed enough big penalties in his early career.
But he's also scored plenty of big penalties too.
But
and look,
and
for me, if Gyokeres is now the taker, fine. I take all this back. If he's now going to be our taker, no problem. That's fine by me. And he's a very good taker. It's a very good penalty. He smashed that in. It's a brilliant penalty. But this rotating, they did it last year between Odegaard and Saka for a period as one. I hated it then. Your taker takes your pens. If you don't believe in him anymore, take it off him and give it to a new guy. But all this, you need a goal. No, bro. There's no sympathy out here. We're winning a title. We're trying to win a title. There's no pity pens out here. I hated it.
But I think Gyokeres is our penalty taker, Jordan.
Well, if he is now, fine. If he's now going to be our taker,
I think he has been. I think he took the first penalty we got this season, if I'm not mistaken, right? Then Saka took the second one, but Saka needed a goal, and it was his 200th game, right? So you could attribute that he took that penalty for that, right? Then Saka's taken the next one on, but Gyokeres wasn't on the pitch for that. And then this is now the other moment that, all right, they're all on the pitch. And at one point I said, do I liken this to the Havertz one? Not completely. You know, it didn't feel as token a penalty as that one was, because Gyokeres, in my opinion, is our best penalty taker, I guess, judging by his record, recent history, not just for us. So it was his platform to be given the chance to bury it. And Saka's had a couple. I'm not trying to get onto him, but I mean, the reason Saka and Odegaard have been interchanging over the last 12, 18 months or so is because neither of them are really, you know, Odegaard missed a penalty against Man United in the FA Cup. Saka's missed that West Ham penalty at the end of the season, 20,
I
2, 3, 3, 4, one of them.
I think that's unfair. I think if you look at all the pens that Saka's taken, he's missed a few, but I think his percentage is still very, very high. I think it's still very high. And if I'm not mistaken,
Real Madrid last season, second leg.
He's missed a few, but he's scored so many. But fine. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong here, James. The Bournemouth one with Havertz, were we not 2-3 up?
Yeah,
that was a big difference.
I think we're 2-3 up. And listen, even if you're 3-4 up, I still don't like it. Your taker is the penalty taker, but I can forgive it a bit more if you've won the game. If you've won the game, all right, I'm not going to argue with it. And if you're right, Turkish, and he's now our taker, I take all this back. Fine. But this rotating, you take it this week, I don't like it. Pick a taker and you're the guy. You're the guy. Because if he misses that penalty, I mean, this is a different podcast anyway. But for me, it's about process. And the final thing I'll say on this is, I find it really funny that Mikel Arteta is such a stickler for process. He's so rigid on the things that he won't move on. But rotating, this is the one thing he will give flexibility for. Oh no, you guys work it out. You guys decide on the pitch. If that's the case, I find that really weird. Of all the things to give autonomy to players, to all the things to give players the what's the word I'm looking for? To give players the
freedom, license,
license to make decisions. This is it. This is where you're going to be flexible on who. No. So again, if Gyokeres is our penalty taker, I'll take all this back. But if he's not, I'm fuming.
Okay. I actually agree with you in terms of, I think we have had a bit of a rotational policy over the years. I remember, for example, a couple of seasons ago, Odegaard taking one away at Palace, which surprised me when I think Saka at the time had sort of taken that position of taker. Look, I agree with you because it's got to become muscle memory for these players. You know, you want the players stepping up to feel like, yeah, I've been here before. I've already done it 3-4 times this season. I'm ready to go. I don't think you want them stepping up and going, oh, it's my turn now, and I haven't taken one since I missed 3 penalties back 4 months ago, right? So I actually agree with you. But I think the Havertz one a few years ago, I don't think it was just you need a goal, here's a penalty. I actually think it was a calculated decision from 2-0 up, inject a bit of confidence into a guy who's taking a penalty from a brilliant penalty record. Kai Havertz's record from the spot has been pretty immaculate. I know he missed for us in the FA Cup in January, but he is very, very good from the spot. Gyokeres the same, man. He's just a brilliant penalty taker. And I think it was just, I don't know whether they're going down the rotational policy route or whatever. It wouldn't surprise me if Saka got the ball for the next one. And then I think then there is a conversation there. But if Arsenal have basically looked at it and gone, look, Gyokeres is just our best taker, so we'd rather he did that. He took it for a big game, Everton away, then I think that's fine. I don't think these players, with the pressure that was on them to win that game, I don't think they ever just gave him the ball thinking, here, have it. We know you really need a goal. I really don't think that's what they were doing. I think the rotational thing might be more true. And then I agree with some of the concerns. But him taking it, I had no problem with it. In fact, I was happy. I was like, yeah, this is the guy's record from the spot. Like, that translates across Europe. Like, I know people talk about how good is the Portuguese league or whatever. This guy's stepped up and taken big penalties. That is true. That pressure, that context is true no matter what. It's the same size goals, the same distance, the same football, and the goalkeepers are capable of saving them at the highest level. And he's put it in the back of the net time and time again from the spot.
Just before Alex comes in, my final point, sorry, Alex, is I heard another reason that if this is the reason, again, I will give it some slight grace. I heard someone put forward the idea that Pickford and Saka at England may know each other's penalty taking or penalty saving records. So I thought, all right, I could maybe, and Pickford's actually got a decent record at saving pens. So I thought maybe they've prepared for Saka / Odegaard pens. Oh, no, it's going to be, so that's an argument that I'm potentially.
I like that. I like that.
Of course.
No,
Yeah, I'm
because
fair, James. I'm fair. I've got my point, but I'm
That's
fair.
true.
I'm balanced.
no, you're
I heard
fair.
that point. And I thought, okay, I could
And there was quite a
maybe.
lot of dialogue going on between both of them, to be honest. And you forget that these are the details that they prepare for a lot of time in advance. So I actually agree with that. I also think, going back to the Gyokeres thing, he is our best penalty taker. And I thought this would come up, so I was looking, and they actually interviewed both of them. I don't know if you guys saw it. They interviewed
I
them
saw,
together
yeah.
and asked them, so, you know, he needed to get a goal. Did you give it to him? And Gyokeres was kind of confused. He was like, no, well, I just stepped up, took the pen. And Saka was almost like the same. This is our best penalty taker. We give it to him. And I think Arteta then echoes it as well in the press conference. So I think there has been a shift. There was this kind of rotational policy, it felt like, before. And even if we really go back to the genesis, because I'm really interested in the beginning of things. Remember, Saka being our penalty taker, where does that really come from? It comes from this whole thing that happened at the Euros. He was never really a penalty taker. He got good at them, he practiced them, and then he nailed them down, but he was never really a penalty taker. So now you've got a number 9. Was he?
I think he was. Before the
Was
Euros, he was our taker. I think
No,
he
he
was.
never taken one. Not
That's what
the
I didn't
Euros.
remember.
Aubameyang.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, not the Italy final. That was his first professional penalty, I think.
Yeah.
if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken.
okay.
So that's what I'm thinking. It starts from Jordan's that point, I guess, pity in a sense. However, he stepped up and his record's immaculate. But I think with what you're saying, James, we've got someone now who I like to see take a bit of ownership. We were saying when he came, we want to see him be the guy, right? He's taking a number 14 shirt. He's here with a name. He's here with a celebration, all sorts. Do your thing, man. But I agree with Jordan. If this is going to be our penalty taker going forward, keep it that way. I get the little tactical switch potentially for Everton. That's a great point about Pickford and Saka, because they would have spent a lot of time together. But go forward now and dominate that area. Dominate that area of the box and make sure most of the penalties you take, if not all of the penalties you take, are in the back of the net. And I'm happy.
Well, so that speaks to the stickler for detail thing you're saying, Jordan. Like maybe it's even more so what you would expect of Arteta, which is no, you two know each other from England, so I'm not having that. And so actually, it's a really good point you raised. I just want to say this, and you know what, I'm going to come in with it because I've defended the guy loads. Despite the penalty, not enough from Victor Gyokeres for me, guys, if I'm really honest. And do you know why I'm being particularly harsh on this game rather than others? Is a lot of people came down hard on him for Wolves, and I was one of them, because it's Wolves. You should be getting a few goals. We should be fashioning a few chances. But I actually think in that game, you're up against a back five, physical centre-backs, not a lot of room, a lot of breaking down a low block. I can actually understand why that was a game in which Gyokeres, not a lot fell for him. The spaces weren't quite there. Should have done more, but I can somewhat understand. Then what annoyed me a little bit more about this game was the counter-attacks were there, the space opened up, and a lot of his runs were found this time. Saliba played that ball in between the centre-backs that Gyokeres then took, as he's running and on his right foot, and he just needs to hit that ball quicker, but he takes that bit too long and Tarkowski gets in the way. I was also critical of him at the back post when you said it was a foul. For me, I think he's got to be stronger. He's got to just recognize that there's going to be contact coming, hold your ground, put it in the back of the net. Trossard in the second half with the outside of his boot played a lovely ball into the channel. And to be fair, he kind of fumbled his way into the box and made something happen. But there was no finesse, there's no guile, there's no class. It was just kind of bulldozing your way through.
And you know what, James? Sorry to cut you. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, James. Sorry. Just because you mentioned that chance. In Portugal, he scores that.
Yeah.
In Portugal,
I agree. That kind
100%.
of run, that kind of, and may I say, it's why I want him to start this game. And it's why, look, it's another game, away game. We started with Gyokeres and we've won. The 3 before with Marino, we didn't. This one with Gyokeres, we did. And we
Whoa.
It's true.
Whoa.
It's true.
You've manipulated the stats there a little bit to kind of make your point. And I won't have any dirt on my boy Double M's name. I'm not having it, James.
I'm
right?
just the facts man. I just bring stats and data. I present it with no agenda other than Gyokeres is much better than Marino and you're wrong. That's all I've got. And but seriously for a sec, guys, Marino doesn't make any of those runs. And when you got a player who's willing to make those runs, that Everton back line dropped 10 yards because they're aware of that. When they drop 10 yards, you got more room to play in midfield. But when you are making those runs, love it, thank you, that helped the team. And you are found by Saliba, by Trossard, come on, we need a bit more. And so I was. Thank you for the goal. Well taken penalty. Stepped up. Under pressure, you'd have been under a lot of pressure for the team. Even if he'd scored like 20 goals before that, he'd been under pressure to put that away. So well done. But I need more from him. I didn't see enough.
I think he came off at a bad time. If I get why he came off, the importance of him right now, but I think as soon as he came off is when Everton opened up and you could see the space in behind. I feel like if he stayed on, he would have had another goal for sure because the gaps were there for his strengths. Do you get it? And I think up until that point, and I think it's safe to say as well, when he got taken off, we didn't create another chance. I don't remember any other chances. I'm not just putting that on the Gyokeres substitution. I'm just saying, you know, Jesus is different. There was a lot of gaps to be found, but Jesus likes to drop to find the ball. So those gaps were never. If we had Gyokeres in those last 20 minutes, I think we do go and win that game 2-3-0 because he's always on the shoulder and the gaps were there for a ball over the top, run the channels, a cut back here, you know, a bundle in there. We would have got the goal. He come off. And the only thing that happened was a couple more substitutions in the game. There was nothing post. When did he come off? 60 minutes, 65 minutes?
Yeah, 65 or something.
There was nothing post that. That was it for the game. We wrapped it up there.
Should Timber have squared it to Gyokeres, do you think?
I wanted him to. I wanted him to because, like they say in football, the corridor of uncertainty, right? You've got at least 3 options when you put a good ball like that in. You got the guy at the front stick, you got the guy in the middle, and the guy at the back post. However, I liked the cutback because no one expected it, and I wanted Saka, and Saka should have done better with that.
And does that speak? Because that's a great question, James. Because my first instinct was, fire across the front of goal. But do you reckon? I'm just asking the question. Just asking the question. Do you reckon the players are now starting to think,
nah, man. No. That's a simple cutback. You can trust him. You can trust him to put that in the net. And if they're starting to think, then talk of Saka, bro. He should be burying that. Yeah, he should be burying that.
He beat the keeper. He beat the keeper.
I don't care.
But it was along the ground. It was a team shot.
There's 3 men on the line. What do we have to do?
Lift it up a little bit, man. Lift it
off the ground. Nah. You lot are being. I'm having a mayor this pod clearly because I think you lot are being harsh. That's harsh, man.
You smashed that home, man. You smashed that home, bro. You need a goal. Smash that home. Why not? Like it was a bit too like. Let me get. He should have taken it on his stronger. He had time. He just rushed it a little, right? Yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's a
victory. It onto your left.
What? Yeah. My final point, guys. Sorry, was about Saka. Actually, it was a positive. So I'm trying to end on a positive. I thought Saka was really good. I keep saying it, but he just slyly under the radar does all the things during the game that won't get in a highlights reel, but he's always beating his man, or he's always a threat to his man. He gets good crosses to the back post. He had a couple of shots on target. He's just a consistent 7 out of 10 every single week.
Not for me. Not for me.
Oh, I thought he was really good.
Think about it. If we don't score that penalty, we're talking a very different game here, right? Because a lot of the chances we fashioned after the penalty was because they opened up a bit.
Like, everything good we did pretty much Turkish came from Saka.
Well, the best thing we did came from Timber and Odegaard on the right that ended with Trossard hitting the post. Apart from that chance that we fashioned from a nice move, everything else was. Listen, Saka had a good game, like, but this whole really good thing when your star man is not getting, you know, like, he should be scoring. Like he had enough in that game to have got a goal out of it. Do you get it? But in the final third, I just think he just needs to just take that mantle of I'm the guy. Even though we do see it in moments like, he's not cutting it back to Gyokeres. I like that, but you have to put it in the back of the net now. So I can't say really good when a couple block shots, a shot off the line that you should be scoring. I think he had a good game, but without that penalty, it's a 0-0 and a game that we didn't really create an abundance of chances to score in again.
But
so it wasn't the.
I'm with you as far as I think there's definitely another level he needs to unlock. I think there's another level he needs to go to. We're waiting for that. But I disagree in the sense that I do think he created 3 or 4 good opportunities for himself or others. I thought maybe I've just lowered the bar for our attack, right? Maybe it's that. But I just thought, again, he just consistently through games is always a threat. I always think something can happen with him in a way that I don't with Martinelli and Trossard and Gyokeres and Odegaard, I always think Saka is going to do something. He's always a threat. Always a threat. I don't think he was really good. That's maybe, again, an exaggeration, but I just think he's always a threat.
Jordan, 59 minutes in. I agree with you. We've got there. We've got there,
James
people.
agrees with me. I've had a good pod. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, listen, it was 3v1 for the whole pod. And actually, I thought, do you know what? I'm with you. No, but let me also say, I'm with Turkish. For me, he wasn't really good. I've just done, on the Gooniverse, I've got like a new tier list ratings system. And I think the best is brilliant. And then below that is very good / good. For me, Raya was the only player that was brilliant. I thought Raya's passing, distribution, everything, cross-claiming, I thought he was sensational. I then had Rice, Saka, Timber, Saliba as the 4 below him. And the reason I know the others deserve a lot of praise. I thought Declan Rice was very good. But for me, there was like frustrations in possession and things that I'm like, I know there's still more to come from these players. I thought they were very good. But with Saka, he's unlocked something I think really goes under the radar, where I think he's like such a trusted source for the player, for the players when things are a little bit chaotic, out of control. You notice how many times he's on with his back to goal and you fizz the ball into him. He goes, no, I've got this. And he looks after it. And then he rolls a player and then he plays it into midfield to the guy in space. And suddenly we've played out and you've gone, how do we do that? Like, there's just 4 or 5 players around us, but we got through. And there was a moment, I know we talk about that Timber cut back to Gyokeres, and he should square it to Gyokeres, cuts back to Saka, which I liked. Saka should bury it. But also comes from Saka playing a lovely through ball to Timber in a tight space where he's come on the inside and made some things happen. If I'm remembering, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And I thought, again, this wasn't Saka at his best. I actually thought he was better against Wolves, finding more solutions against Wolves. But I thought it was a game in which he was like, let me relieve the pressure. And a lot of people were saying, you know, why didn't we get Madueke on the pitch? Why didn't we get Madueke for his pace to, you know, be more direct and counterattack on them? But I get it. I get why in that situation, Arteta's going, I just need my trusted ballers who I know are going to just keep things really professional, sensible and tidy. And he did that really, really well. And I know it's a small thing, but I appreciate it in these games more than I do others. If that was the same game happened at the Emirates, I'd be going, come on, Saka, like this, you've been good, but you've got another level here. I think for the context of that game, I was really happy with him.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. I think he's what I would call routinely impactful. He's not necessarily, I think you've said this before, Jordan, obviously I watch all the episodes. He's not the flashy player. He's not someone that's going to be another type of winger that's going to cut you inside out, step overs, break your ankles, but he's routinely impactful. When he gets the ball, he's either getting a cross in or he's putting a good quality pass to someone and then making another movement. He draws players away. He creates space for others. And these are the little intangibles that actually make him impactful, even when he's not actually getting the GA. I think beforehand, the another level that Jordan's talking about is when he's doing all of that and he's getting GA. He's getting assists from a corner. He's scoring that worldy goal like what he scored against Man United, where he cuts in and he just bangs it. That's the Saka I want to see, because he's meant to be a talisman. He's meant to be our talisman. However, in this kind of phase of his game right now, he's just being routinely impactful, chipping away, and it's something that we're definitely benefiting from. But I do agree that there does need to be more. And I think going back to Gyokeres, obviously I was trolling a little bit, doing all the celebration and stuff at the start.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
I knew it would rattle you, Jordan, man. You gotta be strategic here. Mindset, innit? Mindset. But anywho, no, all jokes aside, because I'm someone who I wanted to see my striker sharp. I want to see my striker causing problem. He's still half a second too slow. And I'm trying to be genuine because I'm not sure how many starts he's had back since the injury. But even the Tarkowski block, right? That was good. But I've seen him in that position so many times where he rolls him and it's like he takes that extra second to pull his foot back and shoot, you know, or like James was saying, when he gets that ball, when he cuts on the other side and he comes back in and he normally rasses it with his right foot. Again, it was like he didn't look assured. And I don't know if this is a confidence thing, a sharpness, fitness thing, but I want him to be up to speed now. I think there's been enough time and enough opportunities. And lastly, I think you're right. He does score that in Sporting. But I think maybe he's also finding out these Premier League defenders ain't weak. I ain't dashing no one on the floor.
That's my point.
You know what I
my
mean?
point.
I ain't dashing no one on the floor. That half a yard that I'm used to having, I now ain't got. So I think he's actually got to go up a level in terms of the way how fast his brain's gonna work. Because it does just look like there's a slight glitch. When he gets it, it's like he does the roll, but he's used all his energy on the roll. And then when he's gone to shoot, the defenders are like, bro, I'm here. It's blocked. What do you mean? You're not getting your shot off.
Well, before you go, John,
Sorry, go on.
With Gyokeres, there's 3 chances this season that I think prove that it's a confidence thing. I think that Tarkowski one is one, because you're right. He at Sporting, I've seen enough of him to know he takes that touch and rasps it somewhere.
Yeah,
Do you get it? There was one in the Champions League on the other side that was on his weaker foot that he probably took the extra touch and it got blocked. And there was the Port Vale one where or Carabao Cup where Bauman played it across.
Yes.
And all 3 of those, usually from what I've seen of him before, he takes that shot early. And that's nothing. The size of a Premier League defender was not the cause of him not taking that shot early. It's up there. That's the only difference, because if he takes those shots early, judging by the how thorough he hits the ball in those opportunities for Sporting, especially, I think he scores a couple. But the fact he takes that extra half a second, that's where there's still optimism that, look, you've scored now. Kick on. Do you get it? Kick on. Take that shot half a second earlier. Or if you realize that, all right, there's a bit more thought process in it, unlock something else in your game that, okay, the defender now doesn't know if you're going to take that shot, because every defender in that moment knows Gyokeres is looking for that strike. So the blocks look emphatic, but it's also not tricky enough to know or do otherwise. It's a tough balance. At the moment, defenders know what he's going to do, and he's overthinking what he's doing. So the half a second is so important. But that half a second goes the other way, and then all of a sudden the goals can start flying in. So I'm not giving up on him. I need him to kick on. But yeah, Jordan. I mean, Jordan, you make that face, but you can't make that face because you've never given down on him. If you're not giving up on him,
No. Listen. I want the guy to bang. When we signed him, I accepted. We've got him. He's my striker. I want him to do well. I do not dislike the guy. I just can't lie. My eyes are showing me, and they showed me before we signed him. What we're seeing now is what I feared. But I'm backing the guy. If the guy post Christmas kind of can score 15 goals, and that can still happen. I always said I think he will score goals. I just don't think he'll be the difference maker. I'm backing the guy. I want the guy to do well. I just have to be honest. I don't rate him. But that doesn't mean I'm not backing him. But the final point I was going to make was Rio Ferdinand was speaking this week about Gyokeres and saying he gets too involved with defenders. Right? He needs to find a way to get away from the grappling of defenders a bit better. And it got me thinking about Rasmus Højlund. And the criticism of Man United fans had of him was he fights too much. He wants to wrestle you too much. And it's like, yo, and it got Rio Ferdinand's point kind of made sense in that, yeah, like defenders want to wrestle you. They want to feel you. They want to get close to you. And he seems to embrace that. It's like, no, bro, do the opposite. Because I don't see Mateta. I don't see Haaland. I don't see the other big strikers in the league that are physically big getting wrestled as much. They find ways to get away from you. They find ways to, all right, they might be marking you, but they find a way to just, you can't pull my shirt. You can't wrestle me to the ground. He seems to get wrestled to the ground way too much. It's like, bro, you've got to be a bit more cute about how you get away from centre backs, especially your Tarkowskis. Them man, they love a fight. They want to wrestle you. They want to feel you. Pause. They want that contact. So he's just got to be. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's up here. He's just got to be a bit more intelligent about his movement, where he goes, how physically. There's a time to bounce, man, and there's a time to, do you know what I mean? Get away from me. And I don't know what that. I'm trying to think of an example of who's good at it. Who's good at that? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but there's strikers that are good at just not letting you get too. Giroud, to be fair, was quite good at it. Giroud was a big guy, but he was very good at having that enough space that he could get away from you. Now, he might miss the chance, but I think he was quite good at not allowing you to wrestle him to the ground too much and get involved in a sumo match. And I think he's just got to get better at that.
I know you're moving on to Palace. So I just want to really quickly ask: did we get away with it with Tiano Barry and the Saliba penalty incident?
point.
Because I'd be crying about it if it the other way around. But before I get everyone's take, I just want to say I think it's a pen. I would want it. I think everyone's going a little too far with it's a disgraceful decision. It's a Stonewall pen. I don't think it was that Stonewall. People are rightly mentioning when Jesus got clipped at Villa Park a couple of years ago and they didn't give a pen for a very similar thing. I think what adds a doubt is because Tiano Barry's actually got the ball quite cleanly and just booted it in the air, Saliba's gone for the ball. Like, it's not like do you know what I mean? He's gone to kick the ball. It's hard to explain. Like, he's not gone to tackle Barry. He's gone to kick the ball in the air. Barry's got there first. He's caught him. But, like, it's not like he stopped Tiano Barry doing what he was trying to do. But I still think it's a penalty. So I think people, for me, are going a little over the top with it being like an absolute stonewaller. But I do think it's a penalty. Ultimately, you kick the back of someone's ankle in the box like that. It's a pen. But I just want all your thoughts really quick.
For me, great decision. For me, refs are in charge of bringing the beautiful game back a little bit because they've been part of the reason why the beautiful game is a mockery at times now. And the way they do that is things like this. You don't give a penalty because Tierney Barry, they both went for the ball and then he goes down like he's been shot. Why? Because when you slow these things down and the millisecond between him hitting the ball and Saliba hitting him, it's not a penalty, right? I remember Pepe against Alioski years ago when Pepe doesn't headbutt him, but they put their heads together and Pepe gets a red card. That's just another example of referees need to do better in those moments. Because once you start giving it for that, you're going to get more of that. And that's not football. Barry didn't have no opportunity to score there. He wasn't in a great position. They was just both going for the ball and he was a millisecond quicker. That is not a penalty, in my opinion. This is a contact sport, right? And it's a sport built on contact. Like, I know it's gone a long way in the last 20 years, but it's gone too far a long way. It needs to be drawn back in a little bit. Some of the play acting, some of the diving is actually embarrassing and should work against some of these players that take part in that activity. So for me, not a penalty. Judging by today's standards, you've seen them given, it is. But get the beautiful game back a little bit. I don't want to be seeing man rolling about because they know that if I stay down, he had 4 physios around him and 3 ice packs for that. The referee should have gone up to him and go, get the hell up now or get off the pitch for 5. Like seriously, bring the beautiful game back.
No, it was poor. Yeah. It was poor. I think for me, yeah, I'm with Turkish in the sense that we are in a day and age where we've almost been traumatized by the inconsistencies of what a penalty is. But as someone that's played football most of my life, I look at it as a penalty as 2 aspects. Number one, have you played the ball? This is what referees always try and say to me, right? Because I'm a physical player. I like to get in and about it. Have you played the ball? And have you denied something that would have happened from happening, right? And again, go back to it. He's even facing the other way. You're almost doing kick-ups in the box. So I don't know what is even going on.
He's just booted it in the air, mate.
Exactly. It's an honest attempt to clear the ball. Yes, he's caught him, but that should not be a penalty. Because what you're saying to me as a referee when you give that is you've stopped him from scoring and you've stopped him from scoring illegally. That in my basic translation in my head, that's the way I would see it. So in today's day and age, unfortunately, yes, it is a pen. But then I've also seen my winger get kicked in the chest at Palace and there be no pen. So yeah. I don't really know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to even compute these things most times because it's so inconsistent. It's based on the trend of the time. But I agree, if we are going to get back to anything that is right and fair for football, that shouldn't be a pen. And yes, I'd be making noise if it was Arsenal. That's only because of the trauma. But in terms of a pure footballing sense, I wouldn't want it either way. Just let the game return back to what it needs to be and let things actually be genuine based on poor tackles, silly mistakes, stopping someone from scoring, unreasonable force. You know, I think these are some of the things that they use to decide these days. So, yeah,
on those 2 points, I completely agree. What was it? You said the back away from goal and the goal scoring opportunity. I'll add, are you in control as well
There you
to
go.
that?
That's another one.
And
to
kicking the
mention.
ball up in the air because you might get kicked first. I'm sorry, that needs to stop. So
Yeah, that's
yes, there's a debate now because of how it's been refed before. But I tell you what, if the next 5 of these are refed in the same way it was refed yesterday against Everton, and they're all not given because you're trying it as the attacker, then the rhetoric after the 5th one will be, oh, that's not a penalty, man. He knew what he was doing there. And that's how football needs to change a little. It's gone too far to the, oh my God, there's contact there. Like it's cut to this. Oh my, did you see that? Like, and don't, we got that with Jesus and Thiago. Like that, we got that penalty years ago. Do you remember? Jesus gets just in front. And that was probably more a pen because he actually just beats him in front. You could argue he's in control of it. But too often now people in the box are looking for these things and it takes away from the game itself. Like, stop it.
Jordan, I want to come in on this, but
Jordan comes in and says it's definitely a penalty. We got away with it.
What are we doing? There was a game we had. I can't remember the game. Someone in the comments might remember. There was a game this season that we had where it was the opposite. I've forgotten the game where it was our player that was denied, I think, a chance, and he just got there before someone. I've forgotten the game, but it happened to us in the season. I think I'm probably more with James on this one, in the sense that I don't think it's a penalty, but if it's given, I'm not complaining. I think that's kind of my take on it. I don't think it's a penalty, the reasons that have been outlined, but if it was awarded, I'm not complaining. I'm not going to make up noise about that. I could see in a world where they give that as a foul. That's kind of where I am with it. At the time, I thought, in my WhatsApp groups, people are telling me, I mean, they're non-Arsenal fans, insane, disgrace. What the hell's going on? It's a shocker. And again, as James said, I don't think it was a shocking decision, but if it was given, there wouldn't be any complaints from me personally.
I think you guys broke it down so well. Like, if Tieno Barry's booted it in the air, Saliba's made an honest attempt to win the ball, and he's caught him a little bit, but he's not denied Barry doing anything he was doing. Like, it's not, it's like he's come through him. It's like he's invaded into his space. He's just stood where he stood. He's tried to kick the ball out. Barry's beat him to it. Like I said, it hasn't. I lean towards, if it happened to Arsenal, I would have wanted it. But I think Turkish and Alex broke it down brilliantly. And if they establish it as a rule, no. You actually have to bring him down. You have to foul him. You have to have denied him doing something for us to give a penalty. You can't just get there first and then roll on the floor because you got caught. If they establish that as a rule, I'm very happy for them to do that. And I do subscribe to the idea that you should have to do more for it to be a penalty. A penalty is almost a guaranteed goal, guys.
Yeah.
So when they say, oh, in the middle of the pitch, that's a free kick. Yeah, because no one gives a shit. No one gives a fuck if he gives a free kick, Everton put the ball down and they keep moving. But when you blow that whistle and you go, I'm basically giving you a goal here, there's got to be a little bit more to it. So I would have wanted it as an Arsenal fan, but I think you guys have worded it really, really well.
I think Turkish is right as well. I think there has to be contact allowed. You have to be allowed to attempt to tackle a guy. Contact doesn't mean a foul. Just because you make contact, that doesn't mean it's a foul. And if I'm being really mischievous, if I'm being really naughty, you could argue he's fouling Saliba. Look at it again. You could put an argument to suggest he's kind of fouling Saliba. With those that are listening can't see this, but he's got his hands. He's got a handful of his shirt. So I don't know. I'm not saying it was a foul. I'm just saying, if we're going to be soft, you could argue he's got, he's fouling. I'm just saying.
And the reason for me that the Chalobah one was a penalty was because for me there wasn't an attempt to play the ball. There was a very obvious attempt to aggressively for me, barge Gordon out of the way excessively without any playing of the ball, without he's not moving towards the ball. He's quite literally moving into the player's space to move him out of the way. That's where I see them differently. And so when I'm talking allowing more physicality in the game, that is where I think with the Saliba incident, we should allow it, not just, go steaming into someone and going, well, shoulder to shoulder. No, you've cleaned the guy out. But
I think context is a very important thing in life, right? In everything. But I just feel like over the years, the way it's been refed and VAR, they don't take context into account. They zoom into that moment, they slow it down, and they forget about everything else. Like a hand holding on a shirt there. Like which way are they going? Like what are they in control? Like that's all the context that matters to even what we do when we're saying things, right? You're not going to just say something without some context behind it. But they're making decisions without looking at the context of that decision, which in my opinion is the worst kind of platform to be making decisions off. But yeah,
I'm not sorry. I know we're dragging this down. I'm not sure I agree with that, Turkish. I'm not so sure with the penalty context is important. I think penalties are black and white. I think the definition that you and Alex gave earlier on is what it is. I don't think context of is it time of the game? Is it the occasion? Is it
but black or white would be that okay, Barry kicked the ball first and Saliba kicked him. It's a penalty. It's not black or white. You have to apply context.
Well, black and white in the sense of, I think James said it earlier on. Did what Saliba do impede Barry from getting a shot on target? Did what Saliba do?
That's the context.
I think that's quite black and white, and I think that's the answer to the question is no. What Saliba did not prevent Barry from doing what he tried to do.
But Barry could say that the ball was going to come down and I was going to overhead kick it into the top corner.
Yeah, I think it's semantics, isn't it? I think it's semantics. Yeah. Ultimately, like, context is the same thing as the black and white because it's the context that makes it black and white. If you're through on goal, 1v1, and then a player slips and chops you down, you've stopped the player from executing what he wanted to execute, right?
Yeah.
So it's black and white because of the context of the play in question. So I think you're kind of both
hang on to the context in your example is the slip.
Yeah, because the context is
it's relevant.
No, sorry, the context is even the tackle, right? Because you're going to say, oh, but he slipped. But the point is, you stopped him from executing what he would have executed.
But that's my point. That's the black and white. The context would be, oh, ref, I slipped. I'm saying the slip's irrelevant. You fouled him. The slip's not your fault. But I'm sorry, I'm not factoring in, did you slip? I'm factoring in, you brought him down. Fernandez against Liverpool a couple of years ago, Old Trafford, do you remember? I think it was start of the second half, before half time. He took out, who did he take out? He took out somebody and he was sliding. And his argument was, I've connected with him because I've slid. But the referee sent him off because the sliding is irrelevant. You fouled him. It's unfortunate, but it's irrelevant. You fouled him. So for me, with fouls for me, especially in the box, should be black and white. Have you prevented a guy from doing something he tried to do, i.e. get a shot off or pass? If the answer is yes, for me, there's no context of, oh yeah, but I was trying to do this, and oh yeah, but I didn't mean to do that. That's irrelevant. That's an example of where I think context isn't important.
The best ref in the world at this moment in time. Don't know his name, but big him up. And the VAR team. I wish them many more.
That's always a good sign.
That shouldn't have gone to VAR, by the way, as well. That shouldn't have gone to VAR, but anyway.
They came to the right decision. Hit the like button, people. Make sure you come to the right decision. Individual channel links in the description below. 1,000 likes. Let's get it on the board now. Let's say 3,000. I mean, we're an hour 20 in, so 3,000 should be on the agenda. And make sure you go follow up Alex Speaks on Instagram. It's there, the description. You don't even have to leave the page. So show some love. We're going to touch in on Palace now. Predictions, comments of the day. We're going to wrap it up. On Palace, I mean, listen, we're going to talk more about it after the game. It's a big game. You know, we win that and we face a double header, 2 more London derbies in January against Chelsea, a Chelsea side that not so long ago beat us 1-1. So, you know, it's a game where we're going to need to get some revenge. If we do pass Palace, but Palace are in poor form. What I'd ask is, I mean, does Jesus start this game?
Yeah. I think we've got an opportunity here to rotate and it still looks strong.
Yeah, I agree.
One of Rice and Zubimendi should keep their place for me. One of, and then Marino comes in. But then you've got Madueke, Waneri, Eze potentially. And I'd have them all starting as a trio behind Jesus, not Martinelli. I'm not seeing enough from Martinelli's cameos and performances here, if I'm honest. I'm not. I don't know how you felt he did coming off the bench. I didn't see any real impact. And they're the players I'm excited about. Madueke, Waneri, Eze. No, probably Madueke, Eze, Martinelli with Waneri on the bench. But that would be unfortunate, man. I think especially against Palace back five, they'll be difficult to break down. I want the match winners on the pitch, and I think they're all match winners. Waneri and Eze are with Jesus, and then the defense. You just do what you can, really. I think Lewis Skelly in for Calafiori, but that's pretty much it. For me, it's still a cup quarter final. I want us to go through and face Chelsea in 2 legs. So that's me. That's my thoughts.
Briefly from me, I agree. I think there's a chance here to rotate quite a few players. Jesus has got, if I'm not mistaken, quite a good record against Palace, I seem to remember. So, I mean, if that means anything, I'd definitely start him. But I also think, I'm sure I read that Palace have played something dumb, like 4 games in
10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
It's mad. And they just got smashed by Leeds yesterday, 4-1. I wonder if, and this is just a mad theory, I wonder if, because they won a cup last year, the priority this season is to try and get into Europe via the league, and they may just not sack it off, but I wonder if they just think this might be a game that we could do without, and we may just put out a second team in preparation for. They've got the Europa League conference still. They've got the league to try and get back on track. Their league form at the moment isn't particularly good. So look, I'm preempting what they're going to do. But looking at the context, important word, the context of Crystal Palace, I just wonder if they will put out of quite a weak team and see this is the one we might tap out here. Just a theory.
You're muted, Turkish.
Oh, James, man! I want my revenge.
I've got places to go, and he pays me.
The invoices come to me. I'm gonna remember that, James. You're gonna eat a day before Jordan's. Yours is in me. Christmas
Thanks,
Eve.
bro, man. Do you know what, man? You're an amazing host. I just want you to know that.
I might send it now.
You're an unbelievable host. Yeah.
But I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna disagree with Jordan, but that's you. That's the norm anyway. That's the norm. What was I going to say?
They went strong against Leeds. Palace's 11 was strong. And
I was surprised.
They've had some bad results. The 2-2 in Europe in the week. I actually think they'll go quite strong because then they've got quite a few days till Tottenham at home on Sunday. So they've got quite a break there. So I think they'll go strong. I think it's just more about how tired they look. I don't think it's going to be a case of whether they're going to rotate and that makes it a touch easier for us. I just think they might be exhausted. But let's see.
All right, let's do predictions then. Let's look at what the table looked like before we do predictions. This is how it looked before the game against Everton away, and this is how it looks after the game against Everton away. James got Gyokeres as his key man, and Gyokeres got him 4 points by smashing the ball into the back of the net. I think Jordan, off the top of my head, is here now.
Dispatched
picked Marino.
Of it, they say.
Yeah, dispatched
Beautiful
Marino from Jordan. I picked Saka, and the guest picked Rice. We all picked wins aside from Jordan, so Jordan's the only one without a point this week. He falls down the table. He's third, people. So audio listeners, I'm top. James is second. Jordan's third, and the guests are reeling behind in fourth. As you can see, they don't really give a shit about the predictions or the prediction table. So the integrity of the league is in the pits right now. But hey, we're trying.
Honestly.
Cool. So Crystal Palace, Carabao Cup, Tuesday night, rotated side. I'm gonna go 3-1 Arsenal, and I'm gonna go key man Jesus. James.
Oh yeah, forget it's me. I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal, Madueke.
2-1 Madueke. Jordan.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal. Jesus. I'll go Jesus as well.
Okay, Jesus. Cool. Alex, give us yours as well. Prediction and star man.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0 as well. I want us to keep another clean sheet, and I'll go star man Jesus. He's got a record. Remember, he had those games where he scored against Palace like back to back. Was it 2 goals each?
5 in a week. A hat trick and then another 2 at Selhurst. Then he got injured. like a week
Yeah,
or two
it
ago.
was crazy.
It was this, no? It was this period.
It actually was, yeah, because was it a Carabao Cup?
Yeah, quarterfinals
Yeah.
against Palace at home, Carabao Cup.
Yeah, so listen, some things are just written, man. So yeah, I'm going for that.
There you go, people. So Jordan and Alex have gone 2-0 Arsenal. James has gone 2-1. I've gone 3-1. And me, Jordan, and Alex have gone Jesus to Starman, and James has gone Madweke. So that's ours. Leave us yours in the comment section below. And on that note, comment section below, let's have a quick gander at comments of the day. I've got one here.
Oh, I screwed it, guys. I didn't even listen. I'll just I'll own this one. I didn't even bother doing the mid-pod glance at them. So sorry.
Nah, I know you got to be somewhere.
Yeah, I know you got to go, James. Just, first of all, Deluded got a lot of love in the comments on this one, a lot of love. So big up Deluded on the last pod. One comment I've got here, once again, Jordan talking about beating a man, flirting and clean sheets. My mum hears this pod in the background. Christmas is a family time. Please keep it PG, Jordan. Love keep up the good work. I'll do my best. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Zach says, bloody love this podcast. Listening to Jordan on a Monday morning really helps me get ready for my week. I think to myself, God, nothing could get worse than listening to this guy. So I feel like if I listen to Jordan, I can take on the world. And
then this pod drops. I've had a shocker.
I mean, it's dropped the day early, but yeah, you can take on the world. If Jordan can say some of the things he says here, then listen, why can't you do what you want to do, people? Dream big, dream big. Big up the community as always. Jordan, James, love as always. Alex, it's been a pleasure, man. Won't be the last.
You, Alex.
Appreciate it. Big
Alex,
up, man.
brilliant, man.
Second best guest so far.
Everyone. Oh, here he goes. I was waiting for that.
Second best guest so far. Second best.
That's mad. It, everyone else is the first best, so you're second best.
Second. As long as Arsenal get first, I'll take second. It's all good, man.
Alex, that's the most genuine thing. The fact that he says second best means he probably actually really means it.
That's all right then.
No, big up you, man. Big
Great
up
work,
you,
man.
Come on. All right, community, show Alex some love. Alex speaks on Instagram. It won't be the only thing he's doing moving into 2026. So obviously show him some love, some Christmas spirit, New Year love. TLC, the Loose Cannons, go follow him on Instagram and obviously keep up to date with what he's doing. And we're going to bring him back at some point. And hopefully by then he's doing a bit more because he told me he wants to do a bit more. So it's on him now. Like it's on Gyokeres to continue banging. It's on Alex to continue delivering. So that's on him. Aye. We got it. My thumbnail's ready.
Yes, yeah.
I got Jordan. Love for the love, people. See you soon. Peace.